Hi, this is Sensei James Leonelli from Sensei's Weekly Mindset, and I'm here to talk to you about betonline.net. Betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer, and esports. Don't forget my personal favorite, MMA. We've got it all on betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, we can help you find those on BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. And don't forget BetOnline for NHL, boxing, golf, and like I said, my personal favorite, the sport of MMA. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Life isn't always easy, and you don't have to face it alone. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of needs. To get started, you simply answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's most convenient for you. The best part is, if your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price, all from the comfort at home. To start your journey and to get 10% off of your first month, go to betterhelp.com/sensei. That's better, HELP.com/sensei. BetterHelp, you deserve to be happy. Hi guys, Sensei James Leonelli here to talk to you about another one of our sponsors, LMNT. An electrolyte drink mix. Each one of these little packets gives you exactly what you need to keep you as hydrated as all us athletes like to be. If you're like me, you work out a lot, and when you work out a lot, you also sweat a lot. Now, when we sweat, we don't lose just water, of course. We also sweat out salt. We sweat out electrolytes. So each one of these packets contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, giving you everything that you need in order to maintain optimal hydration and nothing that you don't. So to go online, place an order for your sample pack, and to get yourself a bonus free sample pack, you're going to go to this website right here, elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. You're going to see this down in the video below, but I'll say it one more time for you. elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. Again, it's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sensei's Weekly Mindset. I'm Sensei James Leonelli, owner and head instructor of Tiger Schulman's here in Smithtown. Once again, I am back in my home recording space, ready to give you guys this week's food for thought. I am joined once again by my furry co-host, Slade and Kane. Thank you for you guys who voted in the poll last week on Instagram about who was working harder, doing their job of co-hosting. I love to see interactions in a story like that, so thank you for that, guys. Other than that, you can see I'm wearing a little bit more of the Everyday We Train line, one of my favorites, the Jiu-Jitsu shirt, or the original Jiu-Jitsu shirt. There's a few of them available now. This collection and many others available on tiegear.com. They're doing a bit of an overstock sale right now, so by all means, if you guys need some gear, get on a Tie Gear. Get it now while you can at a little bit of a discount. Never a bad thing, and that is for sure. So, guys, as we get our show rolling this week, we're in the midst of the 60-day challenge for Tiger Schulman's. A bunch of students are involved in that. I'm involved in that as well, obviously. Not only taking part of it in it myself, but also in terms of like with the panel and stuff like that. I'll helping them out behind the scenes as best I can, and kind of being their technical support where I can be. Other than that, we have coming up in Tiger Schulman's a few different events. We have the the Swing for the Stars event will be coming in April. We also have I don't want to talk about it too much because I know we have something here on Long Island cooking, but until it's like public knowledge, I don't want to make it public knowledge. We got another thing cooking in April as well on Long Island here that should be awesome for all of our students who take part in jiu-jitsu, but more information on that when we get there. And then, of course, we got the Flex Fights calendar coming back up February the 22nd. So a bunch of things to be aware of. Speaking of being aware, make sure you guys, if you're on YouTube, you've pressed that little notification bell to make sure that you're getting notified whenever new episodes drop. Make sure you subscribe, whether you're on audio or on YouTube, so you get your new episodes every Wednesday without fail. And of course, guys, like, subscribe, comment. I love to see as much interaction from you guys as possible. Right? It only helps the program grow. And of course, anytime that you guys share the podcast, I appreciate that. I love seeing that on social media. So thank you very much. So as we get into today's mindset, last week I spoke about the value of my daily routine and how it helps me accomplish more. And I spoke to my class about it throughout the week because it was a nice, funny topic, especially when I could not really throw my students under the bus, but bring up the conversation and bring up the silly way that they brought up my routine and so forth. And it was a fun topic, and it definitely helped people think about things in that way. But the beautiful thing is how your routine and how having a routine is not just a good thing for adults. Often adults, because they are naturally more self-disciplined than children, will think about their ability to have a routine, and the kids' routine kind of comes second. They kind of, I don't want to say fly by the seat of their pants a little bit more, but life is so chaotic with kids that it's harder to have a routine. And I, being such a structured person for a long time, took that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Like, if you raise your kid and you do it in routine, then life becomes easier. And now witnessing Dominic, the other main instructor in my school, raising his son, he's got a great routine with his son, right? And it's because Dominic grew up in martial arts. So now he's implementing it. So I see it, sure, Raymond's only 2, and he's only just getting involved in his first activity. So we'll see how routine sticks by him. But the dude's got a pretty solid routine. And, parents will think about this when it comes to a kid's sleeping schedule or their meal schedule. Like, oh, if I don't get my kid in bed by 8 o'clock, like, it's going to be hell to pay. And it's funny, like, we have some friends like that. They live a few states away, and, when we go on like a camping trip or something, sometimes they'll join us. And they are people who, even when they're on vacation, even when they're camping, they do not deviate from the sleep routine at all. And like they live or die by it, which is, commendable for sure. But I can only imagine what a headache it is, throughout the year to stay that committed to their bedtime routine. But it works for them. So who am I to judge, right? The key thing is they have a routine. And again, we think about this when our children are young, how important it is to have them in bed by this time, to have their meals at this time. But then as they get older and they get to the point where they have a little bit more personality and, the ability to be a little bit more independent, sometimes we kind of let the hands off the wheel too much. And, I came into parenting like overnight. Obviously most people come into parenting overnight, but usually you have 9 months to plan. We did not when it came to parenting. We have Kai and Riley, and they came into our custody about almost 2 years ago now at this point. And we went from a family of 0 kids to a family of 2 kids instantly, and 2 school-age kids too. And that certainly changed things up for sure. And it took us a little while to get in the routine because, again, I'm a very structured routine person. I have my things that I do every Monday is the same. Tuesday, Wednesday, like all these things, they're all the same. My Wednesday is as predictable as every Wednesday, as you can imagine, as is Thursday, as is Friday. Like all my days are so structured. And then you throw kids in the mix and kids who needed to get entertained a little bit. And they weren't in school right away because they came from a different state where they had completed their grade, and they came to us in May. So their schooling was already done for the year. So our summer was extended, and those lucky kids got their summer extended for sure. But, we've really seen how important and how valuable routine is. I'll give you a silly example. A typical Monday involves the same morning routine every morning. We get up at the same time. Kai has his breakfast. Everything happens with Kai the same way. And then I bring Kai to school. Well, I bring Kai to school. Mrs. Sensei feeds Kane and Slade. once that's all said and done, we try to get them to relax a little after they eat to avoid some of the bad complications that can happen when a dog goes crazy after they eat. So we try to get them calm for a few minutes, and then it's time to wake Riley up, and it's the same process. She goes up, she gets Riley ready. They tell me what they want for breakfast. I'm making breakfast downstairs. They come down, we eat breakfast together. We walk Riley to the bus stop. We come back, we have our cup of coffee together. She goes to work, and I begin my daily routine stuff, eventually going to train and all that kind of stuff. So everything is so incredibly predictable on our days that it's, like I said, it's really easy for us to get a lot done, and it's really easy for the kids to know what to expect and so forth. And then you have a day where the kids randomly have off of school, like Martin Luther King Day or Lunar New Year, with the 2 days the kids just have had off recently. Lunar New Year was kind of threw us for a loop because it was in the middle of the week. It was Wednesday, so it was weird. We had 2 really structured days, and then Wednesday, it was weird. We didn't what are we doing with the kids? Everything is so based on their routine, especially now that we have Kai involved in school wrestling. And with him in wrestling, the routine, though it changed from normal, it's, again, as equally predictable. As soon as I pick Riley from school, we go to my school. And from there, she takes classes, she does her homework, she has something to eat, all these things. And then Mrs. Sensei picks her up. They swing home to meet Kai. Dinner is done. And, again, a very predictable schedule. And it's really beneficial to getting a lot done. The kids between them take a lot of martial arts classes. Riley takes dance. Kai is involved in school wrestling. Both of them take an intramural wrestling program. Obviously, we've got the dogs, and then whatever social life and school and everything. And there's a lot spinning for sure. And I'm not saying we're the busiest people in the whole wide world, but we do get quite a bit done. And it took us a while to kind of break into the routine, simply because me and Mrs. Sensei had our routine that was built for 2 adults. And then that routine was built over the course of 13 years. And then all of a sudden we had 2 kids thrown into it. Not that we didn't kind of see it coming, and of course, but it's a lot different to think about it and then to have it. And it took us a little while to get into routine for sure. And it is so valuable for kids to be involved in routine. It allows them to get so much more done. But more importantly, children, now I'm going to say a statement that seems contradictory based on kids' behavior. Kids thrive on structure. Now, with that in mind, though kids thrive in structure, they do push against it. They do rally against it. That's not to say that my kids are some kind of angels where, magically every sock winds up in the hamper and every plate gets put in the dishwasher. That's not the case. But it's because we have every other bit of our routine down perfect that when that other stuff comes, when they're like, I can't find my pink shoe, when that happens, then it's a lot easier to deal with that, because we're not also at the same time worrying about, oh no, did we give her a snack? Oh no, is her laptop in her backpack? Oh no, we got to make a breakfast. Everything is down, it's honed like a blade. It's honed down to its thinnest edge. So that way, when the unpredictability happens, we're able to accomplish a whole lot more. And no matter how much there are those morning speed bumps where Riley comes down the stairs, she's like, oh, I forgot to grab socks. Or Kai's like, where's my school ID? Because everything else is taken care of, then instead of having multiple fires to put out every morning, we have 1 fire to put out. And again, they get less and less, there are less and less fires over time. And more importantly, those things that were problematic, they get less problematic over time. Like, for example, I mentioned Kai's school ID. That was a big one for him for a real long time. He comes home and he gets out of school and it's hanging on a lanyard over his head. And he takes it and he was putting it somewhere. And that somewhere could have been in his jacket pocket, or it could have been in his pants pocket, or it could have been he walked in the house and he put it down on the counter, or he went up to his bedroom and he put it in his dresser. So there were so many variables as to where it could become, that we had to, just like you would anything else, we had to train it into him to, for example, Kai, this pocket on your backpack, this is the ID pocket. This is the ID pocket. And that's how we refer to that pocket on his backpack. So now even though that was a problem for him this year, it's resolved itself because there was routine. And because there was routine that didn't deal with that one problem, well, now we started to see what the problem was, so we started to hone that part of the routine and make it better. Now that he's involved in wrestling, we've had to hone our routine as well. Because he gets home from wrestling practice, and the man's tired, and I don't blame him. And he's tired, and he's got to let the dogs out of their crates and let them outside and so forth, and then have something to eat and all of that, and then get to his homework, of course. But the one thing he should do is, hey, he got home from wrestling, he should take his sweaty wrestling stuff and dump it out in the hamper that's right there. And then, at some point put the new stuff in before he goes to bed. Well, that wasn't happening for the first week or two. And I have to remind him every night, like, Kai, did you do that? He's like, oh no, could you put the new stuff in my bag for me? So it now has become a routine that he's done it more and more, where now it's getting to the point where when he goes to bed at night, I'm like, did you do it? And he's like, yep, I got it. And we're remembering a lot more. But that's the other beautiful thing about routine, is that the things, the nail that's sticking up becomes apparent. And it starts begging for the hammer because all the other nails are down at the level that they should be. And the same holds true for every routine that you have. The more that you stick to your routine, the more the part that doesn't work, or the more that there's that room for the more it sticks its head up, and you're like, okay, this is where I need to put my attention. Definitely the truth with kids. And like I said, kids will rally against it. They will not want to put their backpack in the same spot. They will not want to put their shoes in the same spot. It's getting a child to comply to something new is never an easy thing. I'm not trying to pretend that it is. Instead, what I want you to realize is that once you have a child and you do the thing that no parent likes to do, you force them. You force them to comply to a routine for a certain period of time. What will happen is, as the kids comply with that forced routine for a little while, they'll start to see the convenience of it. They'll start to see the fact that, wait, I do know where my backpack is every day. I do know where my ID is. And I don't get in trouble in school anymore because my ID is... I swear they're not fighting. I swear the dogs are not fighting. They're playing right behind me, of course. At any rate, they start to... I'm not getting in trouble in school anymore because I know where my ID is every single day. And the whole idea is that we are doing the same kind of thing that I am doing for those two maniacs back there, right? When you take responsibility for a puppy, it's not really that far different from having a child. In that, early in that new life that you have taken responsibility for, you are helping to set patterns and expectations that you hope to have with that new life for their entire life, right? This is the most basic example, right? You housebreak a dog, you potty train a kid, right? Obviously, those happens at different stages of development, and obviously things are different, and it's a different level of seriousness, of course. But why are you potty training your child as quickly as you can? Because you don't want to change their diapers when they're 7, right? You want them to be independent enough that they can take care of that kind of stuff by themselves. The same thing with your dog. You don't want to be cleaning up accidents in the house all the time. So you potty train them. You in our case, you bell train them. We would bell on the back door, they ring. You housebreak them. So that way you're not cleaning that up all the time. You're setting a pattern that's going to make your life easier, but also make their life easier, right? Because, of course, if you had to clean up accidents all the time, you're going to be upset, and the dog's not going to understand why you're upset. And if you had to clean up after your kid all the time because they were taking forever potty training, you're going to get frustrated, and they're not going to know why you're frustrated. But, again, this pours over into the rest of their life, right? Because if you really think about it, where kids find themselves getting in the biggest trouble, or in the most, like, at their parents, where they're like digging at their parents, right? They're really like digging into them. It's always at routine breaks. It's always at the things that they know that you as the parent knows the child should be doing, right? Like, I know Kai and Riley know where to put their dirty dishes when they're done. So it drives me crazy when they walk away from the table and they leave their plate. And, a year ago, the way I reacted to that would have been much different than the way I react now, because a year ago, they didn't have the same systematic way of thinking. They weren't, for lack of a better word, they weren't as disciplined. And as they've been with us for longer, they have a better routine. They understand expectations much better. And I know what they're capable of now. More importantly, they know what they're capable of. So when they leave their laundry on their bedroom floor for 3 days, right, I get annoyed. And they understand why I get annoyed, because they understand the expectations too, right? That's them fighting back against the structure, right? Just like when you, again, I'm gonna bring dogs back into it, because again, we're living through it on both fronts, right? When you crate train a dog, right? Like we crate trained both our dogs, and Kane at first hated it. End of the night, we'd put him in, he's licking my hand right now. We'd put him in his little crate, and he would lay in the crate, and he would complain, and he would bark, and this and that and the other. And then I'd get up in a couple hours, and I'd take him out and let him go to the bathroom, and then I'd put him back in, and he was fine. He would, again, fuss for a little bit, and that took about 3 days to get past. And then, now, when we go upstairs, it's just a thing. Like, Kane knows, like, oh, we're going upstairs? That means I'm going to my crate. That means I'm getting treats. And he goes and he trots over and he lays down in his crate with a big smile on his face, his tail hanging out, and his ears bopping and his little tail going, because he knows, he's been trained. This is a happy thing. This is not a bad thing. But he pushed against it at first. And now his crate is one of his favorite places. If we're upstairs for an extended period of time for whatever reason, and we haven't put him in his crate yet, he'll hang with us. And if he's bored hanging with us, he'll go and he'll hang in his crate, because he's just so accustomed to it. It's comforting to him now. And kids do the same thing, right? They naturally push against routine a little bit, right? They naturally, like there's a room in our house where Kai has his PlayStation, and he does spend his time that he's allotted to spend there as much as we'll let him. And that's probably his room where he is the least disciplined. Where he leaves blankets all over the place, and he puts remotes wherever, and he leaves dirty dishes. And we don't go down to that room all that much. We've been using it more together as a family, but nonetheless, when we do come down there, we're like, dude, come on. But that's his space to stretch out against the structure, to push back against, like, no, I don't want to be so tight in routine. But when you look at the other areas of his life and the way he's tightening up elsewhere, the way his schoolwork is getting better, the way he's now really embracing wrestling, the way he's getting better about, even like now he takes care of his own laundry, which is a great stride for a 12-year-old. But nonetheless, he does these things because there were clear expectations and there was routine. And like I said, routine, I said it for adults, routine allows you to accomplish more and to see the space where you can accomplish more when you need to. And for children, it's no different. It allows children to accomplish more as well, right? And what you're really doing, just like if you take your puppy and you train your puppy to do all the things, to sit, to stay, to give you paw, to spin, to, right, where to eat, when to eat, to not take things off the table, to eat the things they're supposed to, not eat the things they're not supposed to what to chew, what not to chew. When you're setting these expectations, what you're doing is you're training that dog to be the kind of dog that you want them to be for the rest of their life. And when you're setting things like a routine and structure for your child, what you're doing is you are setting patterns that are going to help them grow into the type of adult that you hope your child will be, right? Nobody hopes that their child is a kid who can't find their keys, who never knows, whose apartment is a mess, right? Who always has their laundry laying around and stuff like that, right? They want their child to grow into a prospering human being who does well in their career or school or whatever, right? So the way that we set that up for our kids is we build structure in them early. So that way, whatever they set their sights on, they can achieve. Right? So with that in mind, my friends, thank you for your patience in listening through Kane and Iron Slade having their absolute blast. So that is all I have for you guys this week. And I want you to think about it. If you are a parent, I want you to think about how routine is going to affect your child's life and how you can make their routine better to help them grow into the strongest, best, and most disciplined people that they can be. So with that in mind, my friends, as always, you can reach me via email, senseileonelli@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at sensei_Leonelli. Facebook, I'm Sensei James Leonelli. You can find my school online, tsmasmithtown.com. You can find us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/TigerSchulmanSmithtown. Twitter and Instagram, we are at TSMMA_Smithtown. Right, you can find everywhere I'm on the internet at my linktree, linktr.ee/Sensei Leonelli. You can find everything Flex Fights, Tiger Schulman's, and everything else you need to know there. Find out more about Tiger Schulman's organization as a whole at tsk.com. With that in mind, my friends, make sure that you guys leave a rate and review. Just helps. Subscribe, get you new episodes every Wednesday. Make sure you guys leave a like and a comment. If you guys were hearing Slade and Kane throughout the episode, feel free to bust my chops in the comments about that too. Other than that, guys, share the podcast. It's the only form of advertising that I have. I very much appreciate when I see you guys doing that. So, until next time, my friends, invest in yourselves. I'll see you guys on the mat.